What's up, people? Yeah, I got some videos I'm gonna post, and I know I haven't posted them. Uh, it's got some information on it. Some of it's old, like a week or so ago. Uh, but that's neither here nor there. It's kind of like I wanted to address the thing of I might have all these like um I don't know godly accolades, I guess, and it's great. It's fine, right? But you folks that are consistently doing evil shit. Somehow you think I'm just supposed to like drop what I'm doing dun, 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 and come to your rescue. It's not how it works. You see? Because God doesn't operate like that. And you might say to yourself, hey, I'm going through some shit. Could give a fuck how God operates. And that's the main reason why God don't operate like that. Because you're looking at what you're going through, and you're looking at the fact that you're going through it, and you feel like you shouldn't. Instead of looking at the situation like, maybe I should. Maybe I'm supposed to. Let's see. I run my life back in my own head and what I've done. You have to go through a process of your self balancing out your scales. You know what I'm saying? In your mind. That's like a process of elimination. You know, you going back over your good and your bad deeds, like, and then you're gonna decide, like, fuck, I'm leaning more to the left or to the right, to the good or to the bad. You know. And so when you're leaning more to the bad, I want you to think about something. And you're going to understand why your method won't work, okay? So, let's say you do work all fucking day. You're tired. Come home. And you come home. They want you to do some shit. Might be read to your kids, watch a movie, spend time. And you're like, fuck, I worked all day, I'm tired. You know, but I'm going to find some energy. And hopefully when I get out of the shower or just give me a few minutes and I get myself together. And let's say you get yourself together and you got a good 5 or 10 minutes in you, right? And if you're spending it with your kid or your spouse or whatever, you try. You really try. And you try to be attentive and, you know, and give some form of luster, right? Then you fall asleep. And you're tired. And if you were reading your child a story, that child might start reading that story to you. Be like, oh, mommy sleep already, daddy sleep already. And that child wants your attention, right? You know what most kids do? I'm going to tell you what they did to me. They'll be like this. They'll take my eye and my lash. They'll be like, auntie, you awake? Hell no, I'm not awake. I'm asleep. Okay? So, if the I am is in you, you, sir or ma'am, must think like a God would think. You know? Except for God deals with this whole world. And God picks up the slack for this whole world. You know? And because we ask for free will and to make our own choices. That means we pick up part of our slack. Okay? But let's be honest. A lot of us don't pick up our slack. They pass it to somebody else. Better yet, pass it to God. And some passes, God don't mind. You know, throw that football, he got it. He catching it. He gonna run that shit, make a touchdown. You know. Then there's other shit where it might be a little difficult. He caught the ball, he gets sized up a couple of times, and they get him down. Then there's times where it's just not happening. You might not be having a good day that day. Something else might be going on to a point where it's like, I tried giving it my all. And not going to say that our all isn't good enough, you know, but everybody gets tired. Everybody needs rest. And everyone needs someone to care. So when I say to you, think like a God, you got to ask yourself, when your shit, whatever you're thinking about giving to God, and it's easy as hell. Let's say they wrote a book on shit you need to follow, right? And they gave practices. You know, you can't say it doesn't work because it hasn't worked for you, because that wouldn't be true. It's worked for other people. So, can't really do that. Because when you say to God, like, you know, man, I'm tired. Hey, can you hit me with some energy so I can just put some time into my baby? God said, I got you. That's that touch there. You know. Or you say to God, you know, my brain got too much going on in it. And I need some peace. I need some quiet. I need somewhere to think. You know, God can remove that chatter in your brain. Even though the chatter could be going all around you in your house, He can remove it to grant you peace in your mind. And you might say to yourself, that seems a little bit more difficult because you could be looking at it like, I got a lot of shit up in here. That's an easy thing for God, because it's like, all right, I do that, right? When it's time to pay your karma, this is a multitude of choices and decisions that you willingly made, knowing that they will have some form of a negative outcome, a negative effect on someone. And when you decide to do it anyway, you're taking that chance. You're taking that risk, right? You know that at the time when you're doing it. God knows that at the time when you're doing it, right? But that time comes when you got to pay your karma and you like, whoa, hold up. I ain't signed up for this shit, right? Now this is where it's going to seem difficult. And where if you were that football player, you'll be having a bad day. And because God's going to say to you, check this out, motherfucker. Remember this shit right here? Remember this shit over here? Remember what you did right there? I don't give a fuck that you did that shit 2 years ago or 10 years ago. This world on a 12-year cycle. You're supposed to balance out your shit. It's your choices. They're not my choices. Because guess what? It's not even God's karma. It's not even my karma. Karma has a vibration, a frequency, a sound, a distinction, and it matches what you put out. Don't matter when you put it out. When that season for karma comes for you, you get it. It's like Cupid, the law of attraction. It's just the other side to love. It's the reprimanding of all your bad doings. And some of your bad doings can just be mistakes. Trust, they're looked at as mistakes because you'll get little mistakes throughout. But when you do big shit, you get big shit back. And there's not another way to put it, you know? So when you look and you can say to yourself, because I hear people saying it, like, yo, if she's supposed to be this, if she's supposed to be that, she should not be turning this shit down. She should already be coming over here where we at. Matter of fact, this bitch supposed to be reading my mind and knowing what the hell I need, right? And come to my aid. You know what I'm saying? Pick me up while I'm down. Ask yourself, did you do that for me? Mm-mm. Know what y'all did? You said, I'm going to play Cupid. I'm going to throw all this shit at this bitch. You threw it. And I caught that bitch. And I ran. And made it through all them players. And I got that motherfucking touchdown. You get it? So guess what? You can't come back and say, run that ball again. That was a moment that without rewind, you can't get it back. That's the same with bad fucking karma. You know what I'm saying? You got to turn into a god. You know how you do that? You need to own up to your shit. You got to be like, all right, yo, right? I know I casted some death. I know I with some ill fucking shit. And I said da-da-da-da-da, you know? When you own up to it, just like there's equal things to compensate for the choice. It's like you have to offer those equal things back, right? Now, some people think when you say you need to be a god or act like a god or think like a god, I'm not talking about no diabolical god. I'm not talking about no asshole. That is Satan. I'm talking about a God where you're that thinking man, that thinking woman, and you have the world in your hands, and you realize it's your world, and you are the man or the woman that must make just and right decisions for this world. Because not only did you create it, you participate in it. And so you need to think like this. If someone decided to kill me, what would I want to give back to them? And you know your answer would be, you're going to kill them right back, right? But when you're a God and you realize people make their choices and those choices have positive and negative effects, you need to be able to say to people, you might want to rethink that, bro. You must offer something. And I'm telling you, it's not to sacrifice someone else. It's not to go after a child. It's not to go after another abundant person and commit another crime. What you have to do is look inside yourself and say, self, what is it in me that I need to change? And I need to work on that change because that's a problem I have. And I need a solution. It's a hard solution. But I'd rather have a solution to a problem than a mountain of problems with no solution. That is what a God does. A God looks at that damn sheet of motherfucking problems and he get to work solving them. Solving them. He just keeps solving them. He look at everything. She looks at everything. It's a test. You know? Because when karma hits you, it's like you should think to yourself, shit, I failed the test. Right? And then the karma that's right in front of your face, you need to look at it and say, your ass is the damn test. Okay. All right. And then, you know how you pass it? You know how you solve that test? Sometimes you have to solve what's fucked up in that person. Or sometimes it's duality. It's showing you what's fucked up in you. And you gotta solve that fucked up shit in you. And it might be saying some shit like, I got to leave this shit alone. I don't think I'm gonna fuck with this no more. Or I'm gonna change my mind on how I think about myself or other people or the choices I make and the decisions I decide to prioritize, things over. You want to look into things more versus like a diplomat and not a tyrant. Because God is love. God is not a tyrant. Recognizing the God in you is like, all right, it's a shit that need to be fixed. So if you go to an empty place, it's just land. But you say to yourself, This is where I want to make me a home for me and my family. You would set it up to where it's safety, it's love, it's care, it's some devotion, it's thought put into it. It's the love. You have to apply that process with fucked up people. That's how you clear karma. By clearing it within yourself or clearing it within somebody else. It's not a such thing as a transfer. Even though in magic it's considered a transfer, but the reason why there's no such thing as a transfer is because it's limited. It doesn't last forever because nothing lasts forever because the world is always changing. It doesn't stay the same. So the world doesn't stop because you got karma. What that's saying, God ain't stopping because you got karma. No. God's saying, that's your shit. I got my shit over here. I don't have karma because I think before I do something. I don't react to an act. Sometimes I understand, shut my motherfucking mouth. And sometimes I understand, yeah, it's time for me to talk and say something. Sometimes I understand, yeah, now it's time for me to whoop your ass. And sometimes I understand that, damn, I need to sit down and talk to your ass too. It's levels to the shit. It's variations to the shit. But the main goal is not to fuck people over in the process. The more people you fuck over, the more that goddamn karma, you know? It's like you got a test, and the test got 200 motherfucking questions. You want that test to be a, what's that, multiple choice? Or would you like for it to be an essay? That's karma. I'm telling you, you would want the test multiple choice. Because you're your own God of choices. It's easier to pass any test when you make the right and appropriate choices during the process of the test. When you don't do it during the process of the test, it's like you're having to retake the test. But the only time the retake comes is when it's time for your season of karma. So you can't look at it like it's a bad thing. You gotta look at it like, okay, I fucked up somewhere. And you know, with studying, no studying, fucking around, playing, or just being so serious that you don't make a decision, because that's like when you're up in the air, that's like you didn't put an answer. Multiple choice test. So your teacher, which is God, would say, you know, that's considered wrong because you didn't choose. And you could try and argue back and say, it shouldn't be considered wrong because you didn't choose anything. And then God's going to tell you, what was the point of me giving you choices? And that's what you asked for. So therefore, you were supposed to make one. And so when you don't, right, you could screw some shit up so bad to where you have to give an essay for every question out of that 200. An essay means you have to run that scenario back to your mind. You have to recall that time, what you did, what your thoughts were about, how you handle it, what you could have done different, and how you plan to act. Now, this is where people fuck up. I'm just trying to explain to you how not to fuck up, okay? That's all. But this is where people fuck up. They come up with a plan. I'm going to tell you off the gate, the plan shouldn't be sinister. Nah. Sinister plans hit harder and last shorter. And when it's to dead somebody, God don't like that. Because, see, if you want the privilege of truly being accepted as a God, and you know you need people even to do the little tasks, it's like, why would you want to kill the help? Good, bad, or indifferent. It still help. It's easier to educate your help than to just get rid of them. Like, you got to do some shit for it to be like, yeah, we're just gonna toss this shit in the abyss. You know, you need to look at karma when you don't make choices or when you don't make right choices as an essay. Takes a little bit more thought, right? But what you're doing is explaining to God in your mind on what you did. You're acknowledging it and how you handle it or handled it at that time. And it might not have been in its best fashion. And in your mind, you can say to God, I should have handled this way right here. I think when I come up with different scenarios in my mind, that out of the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10, if I handled it this way, it would have been good for all of us, or would have been better for that person that I intended death on, or it's like, you can't say, or maybe you can. You can be like, well, she's not dead. That's a good thing. And that's some optimism, right? And so God will be like, no, she's not. So what are you going to do? And then you'll say, well, I'm thinking I'm just going to keep killing her because eventually she's going to die. God is going to be like, well, haven't you seen in the 45 years that she's still here? Do you not realize that when it doesn't work, she's getting some help? And it can't be demonic help. The reason why it can't be demonic help, because that would mean she's low vibrational like you guys. So that means her death is warranted, right? Like she really did the shit that y'all saying. But the reason why she doesn't die is because she's not low vibrational. And she did not do the things that you said she did. That's why we didn't allow for her to be killed. And so when you have to right your wrong, people look at it like it's the hardest thing in the world to have to come and say, I apologize. And they want to, I don't know, sometimes people buy you shit. Sometimes people just buy you shit and don't say shit. You know, but it's like, if you're not good at talking, you can send a text. You can send an email. If you're not good at calling on the phone or coming in person, you can write a letter. You know, it's ownership. Taking ownership of what you've done. And it's a hard thing to do because, you know, if you've been on a spiritual killing spree, you might got a whole lot of like shit tucked in the cut. So, you know, I'm not telling you how to plead your cases and shit, but you're going to have to learn how to maneuver through your labyrinth garden. And it's an extravagant maze. And it could be an extravagant maze of bliss, or it could be an extravagant maze of problems. No matter what, it's still an extravagant maze, and you still walked in there. You have to go through, right? To make it out and not die. Not die from like worry, stress, anxiety, not figuring your way out, or coming across what you thought was a door and it was a dead end. And then you having to reroute yourself, you know? Or you're making it to the top of your bushes in your labyrinth garden. And you think you're going to get ahead because you're on top of it. You can do that. But there are times that you fall. And those falls, yes, they're part of karma, but it's God's way of saying, hey, you ain't getting out of here till you handle this, bro. Or till you handle this, young lady. Where you at? You know. It's kind of like, you know, either you're going to be one of those kids in school where you want to get called on all the fucking time and you know everything and you want to be seen for it and credit for it and all that type of shit. Or you could be one of them kids that still know all the shit, but you don't want to get called on all the time. You don't want all the attention being brought to you. You know? So, let's say you're the kid that's smart as fuck, but you ain't down with being called on all the time. You ain't down with people putting you on Front Street. You ain't down with, you know, everybody knowing how smart your black ass is. Right? Like, that's, how can I put it? It's like when you know you want to keep a low profile, you don't do high profile shit. And so, even when killing was a thing, right? And it was done the low vibrational way. I ain't even gonna get into the different ways y'all motherfuckers are manifest. But it's like now, uh, you manifest from the top half of your body. And if you're gonna manifest a kill, it has to be a warranted kill. You know? It's like the difference in devilish nature now versus before is that the devil himself, because the devil himself has gotten reprimanded, right? The devil is gonna be like, nah, I ain't getting reprimanded for y'all motherfuckers no more. Shit, I gotta be accountable now too. So you wanted to kill a motherfucker cause what? Stole something from you. Shit, go steal your shit back. That's how we gonna solve that. And that's the motherfucking devil telling you. Because if your shit don't line up, like, you can't be, you know, when the devil come be like, yo, hey, girl, heard you wanted to kill this other girl because she stole your necklace. You know? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. And I look, listen. I done been around some folk where they be like, hell yeah, she stole my shit. Yeah, not only I'm gonna steal my shit back, blast her ass, right? I'm telling you, instead of the devil being like, fuck it, yeah, if that's what you want to do, go do it. You know, that's like no consequences. I'm telling you, even the devil has consequences now. That means if you're under the devil's submission, you have consequences too. And if you want to stay in devil energy, you got to look at your consequences more. Because if the high ranking devil is getting reprimanded and you already low, how much lower can you go? Right? You got to get out of it. That's how karma works. You got to get out. You know, the devil will help you a little bit. You know, because God and the devil kind of work this together, right? But the devil going to be like, yo, she stole the shit. Let's go steal your shit back. It's your shit. And you be like, damn, that's simple. I don't know why the fuck I ain't think of it. You thought of it. You just don't think of yourself as a thief. Right? So the God will step in and tell you, it's because you're not a thief, you dumbass. You're just getting your shit back from a motherfucker that stole it from you. Get it? All you're doing is saying, I'm going to knock on your spiritual door or your real door and say, hey, bud, you stole my chain, man. I know you stole it because we got it on, on tape. So, you know, why don't you just give me my shit back? Now, he might throw up some opposition, like, I ain't say shit. I don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 right? You don't press the issue. This is what being a God comes in handy, okay? You'll say, all right, okay. I acknowledge the fact that I seen what you done. And you don't want to give me my own shit, even though you know it's mine. That means I know you're going to wear it, and I'm going to see you with it on. Because some people are that damn cocky where they just say that shit out their mouth, right? And you're like, all right. So let me tell you the smartness that comes in when you blend the God and devil into one. This is you thinking, okay? And it's like you can look Bud in his face and say, hey, check this out, man. When I get another chain, you ain't stealing that one, you know? But Bud's gonna think like, damn right, yes I am, because I got away with it. And then this is what you do. Because this is what happens when you invest in your wellness. And it's kind of like you can avoid karma too. Because you being real upfront and direct. You ain't beating around the bush. You ain't shooting the breeze. You not lying to motherfuckers. You telling them what's up. You'll say to God, hey God, you know, Bud stole my shit. Said something to Bud about it. You know, I told the nigga like, hey, give me another chain. Nigga, don't be trying to come steal my shit. So I need you to watch him for me. Whether God answer you or not, God watching Bud. And I'm going to tell you how God give you nudges. You know, when Bud come to your house, and you be like, damn, nigga, what you doing here? We ain't friends. Why you just popping up and showing up? Right? You're going to learn some shit. You're going to say, because this going to be the God in you, because you done start thinking. You done explored your choices through your tests. And you're not thinking impulsively. And you're going through essays on each question. That means you're analyzing. You're going back to your future. You're going back in the past in your brain. And you're correcting your mistakes in the present. Acknowledging it in your brain. And you're making a conscious effort by coexisting with the universe, by calling God in to help you. And you say, yo, let me know if Bud gonna do this shit. I just need an indication. And so when Bud comes to your crib, and all of a sudden he wanna be your friend again, and you like, nigga, we ain't cool. You took my chain. And Bud be like, nah, man, it ain't like that. You nah, right? But he looking around. Who be doing that? Little dope fiends, little crackheads, little shit like that. I ain't saying everybody on some shit, but it's like, you know the signs, so they always looking to do something. And you could tell, but I want to do something, you know? So you say to Bud, what you looking for? What are you talking about? What you mean? They like to play dumb. And this is y'all people that are of a devilish nature. You like to play dumb. I don't know what you're talking about. But when you got habits, people can see it. That's it. They can see it. Right? So you can say all day long out your mouth, I don't know what you're talking about. What you looking around for? I'll just, checking. What you checking for? Right? Bud up to some shit. He needs something for something. And he ain't telling you what he there for. He's shooting the breeze with you. He ain't really giving you no ins and outs, no real details on shit. Because he feels like omission is not getting in trouble. Omission is the same thing. It's not choosing a choice. on that damn multiple choice test. You're getting it wrong. So you acknowledge the fuck shit just like you acknowledge the good shit. Keeps your plane even. And when someone does something fucked up to you, you don't go and retaliate with something even more fucked up. Because if their karma was 100 points, now your karma is double that. So you don't want to pay the abundant credit game. Especially when you don't know where you stand at. It's better to go through your shit. You know, it's like you need to think with a level of optimism that's on some other shit. Like, yo, it's a good thing she ain't dead. Because I ain't even realize it was my karma season. And I won't paying attention to the signs. I won't paying attention astrologically. I won't even thinking I was going to lose my gifts. I won't thinking that, this thing will hit me so fast. Da, 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 da. And so now, what God is doing to you is seeing how well you play in that football game. And I think that's what the quarterback, you know what I'm saying? What God does is he throw you that motherfucking ball. You better catch that bitch. And after you catch it, your problems it's like that maze of people coming at you. And you gotta duck and dodge, bob and weave. Make it through. Now some of you can be real good and make it through and get a touchdown. That means you saw the path. You created a solution to that problem. And you aced that test. Sometimes you can bob and weave a little bit. They come and catch you at the stack. You're down, but you got a few points. That's like the essay. You move forward some. But most importantly, you're critically thinking. And you're not critically hurting anyone. In a duality world, just like you hurt somebody else, they can turn around and hurt you back. But even if that person doesn't realize that the hurt is coming from you, and you think you're getting away with the hurt, right? Because you're not near them. You're not beside them. You don't mention it. They don't even know you got your little secret closet or any of your crazy shit. The unseen world does. That's the thing. Even when you're not being watched, you're being watched. So you have angels with you all the time. You have ancestors with you all the time. They're assigned to us, whether we use them or not. They are assigned to us. And you want them to report all your good shit. Real reality is that they have to report all the shits, regardless of whatever it is. Because whatever truth or lie you walk in throughout your day, it's a step towards your destiny or your fate. So you don't want to keep making decisions where it's stepping you into death, because that's all you're going to be met with is death. you need to know how to say, nah, I'm not gonna bet that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna take that challenge. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if she's a female. I don't know her. You know? But that's some facts. You don't. But I'm sent to trip motherfuckers up. And apparently I do it pretty well. I'm not bragging or tooting my horn. All I'm saying is I'm a living example of thinking. You know? But I made sure to become that thinking woman. And I was sitting on top of this world. And because I sat there, I made it mine. Because when people brought hits to my house, I said, I'm not going to go out like low ranking. Like I don't necessarily know where I'm at, but I'm going to know where I'm at. I'm just telling you what I did. So when they knocked on my brain, that's some serious shit. That means they know whatever the fuck is going on ain't supposed to be going on with me. Because the shit ain't lining up with my angels or my ancestors. It's not lining up with my walk, with my steps, with my actions. So therefore, they're not going to let anything I got going on be altered, because those frequencies you're putting out, those words you're saying, those vibrations are not a match. They don't align with me. It doesn't matter what you see, right? When you look at me, or what you think when you hear my voice. It's the point that we're not a vibrational match. So your fuck shit would only be a vibrational match, right? For other fuck shit ass people that vibrate on that same fuck shit. But because you decided to put that shit out there with full intentions on blast. On blast is like, you gather other people, y'all motherfuckers got goddamn meeting rooms and shit. Y'all do some crazy ass shit, But you do it. Ain't got to deal with that. And because you do all of that, that is karma for it, Because you set the expectation, you set the intention, and you follow through with it by watching and seeing it play out. So it's like guilty by association and guilty for planning it and executing it. And just because it doesn't go in your favor, you keep doing it. But if you understood frequency, karma, vibration, you have to understand it to a certain extent, because even negative shit has a certain frequency and vibration, because you don't want people to go past that, because you can't fuck with them. All I did was change my frequency and vibration instantly. Whether I was a vibrational match or not, for the hits, for the kills, for the suggestions, for the thoughts, for the actions of the scene and unseen people. I just made sure I covered all my bases. Even when they knocked on my brain, I knew I wasn't a vibrational match. But I said, because the audacity was done and you could find me, and it was accurate, the only thing that wasn't accurate was my intelligence. So I increased my intelligence. And you don't understand, in a second, you can change your frequency or vibration with a thought. That's what thought is about. The THOT man and the wisdom. Just like you can stay low on a vibration with a thought. And you can keep yourself low and keep going lower as you think lower thoughts. So when I went to God after they woke my ass up and told me, I went to God like this. My intentions was pure as fuck. The shit wasn't changing. I meant what the fuck I said. I said, God, I need for you to anoint me, baptize me, knight me. I don't give a fuck. Whatever the fuck it is you need to do, I need for you to do that shit. Because if I walk out this goddamn door, I'm going to be fighting these motherfuckers. And if they turn my light off, I need you to do what you always do. Turn that bitch back on. Because I'm going to get back up and keep fucking their ass up. Even if you repeat what I said, it's going to raise your vibration. Every time I say it, I get the little tinglies in my whole fucking brain, in my body. But God answered instantly. He said, I've been waiting to get these motherfuckers. Do you know? Y'all are them motherfuckers. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all. Even when I talk and tell you, or I write and tell you. I'm like, yo, you doing some fucked up diabolical shit to the point where God knock on a bitch brain. That's some serious shit. My God. Like what? You don't do that. I don't know anything else to say. It's kind of like, why the fuck would you piss off God? Like, how the fuck is a man or a job worth pissing off God? It's like you want God's just fucking job here on earth and you piss God off. Are you think you gonna get the goddamn job? Hell fuck no. It's a no-brainer who he's giving a job to. The person he originally gave it to in the first place. Because y'all forget, God doesn't have a concept of time. He has a concept of past, present, future, or word, sound, power, or vibration, frequency, sound. I don't care what you say. It's a method to go backwards, to look forward, and to see if anything can be bent anywhere. And God says, the resolution is the same solution that you've been trying to get around. The same thing as a bend. That's God's way of trying to tell you you cannot bend will, fate, destiny. No matter how many times you've denied me, delayed me, postponed. I don't care what words you put there. God chose me at birth. God still chose me when you wanted to end me. Because God is also telling y'all he knows what the fuck he's doing. So how dare you question his authority on what he wants there? Because you got the paperwork. And it say my shit clear as day. But it also tells you how I'm supposed to be. And you knew the person in that spot wasn't me. But you let them keep fighting for it. So sometimes I don't know how smart you guys are, how stupid you guys are. But either way, it's like that young lady is set up for failure before she even took off. I know she knew that. And she didn't care. You know? So, should I assume that everybody else doesn't care? Yes, when you do it. When you're doing it with them. And then sometimes no. When you think you might be doing it for a good cause. Like, you know, everyone paints me as the villain. So you think I really am the villain. And you think when you're coming into your spiritual work that you are killing the villain. When in fact, you are co-creating with the villain. You are not co-creating with God. That is the difference. This is why you shouldn't go off of what people tell you. It's not a good thing. I give the same analogy. When you look at the Ten Commandments, it's something about that word of mouth, that speaking, that tongue, you know? You see that, right? But then you'll see like further down how you shouldn't murder, right? You should think like this. Murder isn't the worst thing. Even though a person can be killed, and killing isn't right to do. But killing does not gain merit on its own. It doesn't grow by itself. It needs fuel, or what we call energy, that come out your mouth. It come from your brain, come from your choices, come from your way of thinking. It come from the people you're around. It come from the intentions you set, the plans you make, and your execution style about all that shit. You talk a person or people into killing or murder. That's why that cold conspiracy thing gets you more time than the kill itself. Because it started with your mouth. And if you wouldn't have ran your fucking mouth, that thought wouldn't have been on nobody's mind. Nobody would be in a mess. Nobody would have to be cleaning up a mess. Nobody would be questioning if they got time or life, or if they got any, wiggle room with whatever their intentions that they put out based upon what someone else told them. That's the difference between you guys and me. I don't go off what nobody tell me. I don't give a fuck who you is. You could tell me that shit, and I'm gonna ask you why you telling me this. You could tell me your plan, and I would tell you, nah, yo, that's not a good plan. I'm not going with it. Because I like coasting. I like peace. I like being happy in a good way. You know? And I've died before. And every death I had was peaceful as shit. So it ain't even a punishment if I was to die. I look at it as a reward. Because that peace, I can't buy that. I don't even know how to create that. But the closest I can get was separating myself and thinking through things and eliminating anxiety from thoughts, anxiety from things, depression from people. People have a way of changing the atmosphere when they come around. They can change that shit for the worse or for the better. And some motherfuckers is just bad as fuck. And you got to be able to look that motherfucker in the face. Or you can do one of the things I used to do. You be like, yeah, girl, yeah, and you keep on going, and you go from in the house to outside, and everything you saying, staying outside, cause you don't even realize, oh, you about to go. I ain't gonna keep listening to that shit, and you move it out of your way. Or you tell it like, hey, I don't even want to hear that shit. I don't even know how the fuck you keep bringing this shit up. Like, how's this a thing? Why is this always on your mind? Or why you want to stay in this loop? I don't like that. It's kind of like when you think God, you think variety. When you think the devil, one track mind. You gotta get out of the one track mind. You gotta say to yourself, I was drinking all that shit. I don't want to drink all this shit no more. Believe it or not, God be like, okay. So when you pull up some shit to your mouth, you're gonna be like, hey, I thought you didn't want to drink that shit no more. Then he said, I changed my mind. All right. You keep doing it, that's a one track mind. But when you have a mind of choices, variety. You'll say, oh, I'm going to step down. I'm not going to do liquor. I'm just going to do a beer. I'm not going to do this, whatever. I'm going to do some wine. I'm going to do, you see what I'm saying? Then eventually you phase it out. Tone it down. That's how you got to do with your thinking when it comes to when you want to just kill somebody. Got to ask yourself, am I wishing death because they stole my fucking parking spot? Or I'm wishing death because them motherfuckers wish death on me? I'm going on record. I ain't wish death on none of y'all motherfuckers. I ain't even been participating in all the shit y'all be doing. Some of it hurt. I hear it. And others, I just be like, damn. That's how you feel? Okay. You know? Because it's your thoughts. So, you know. And it's fucked up towards me. But I wonder now, is it? It was only fucked up towards me because you thought you was going to gain something. Because that's the way spell work works. You got to do the opposite. So now that that's taken away, it's kind of like, what are you really upset with me about? Your anger comes from harvesting. When you want to come up, you got to talk down about the other. You know? And that person you talking shit about, that's your way of still keeping them down so they don't come up. Because if they come up, that means you go down. But you shouldn't think that way. You must implement compromise. And you must implement apologies. And you must implement some empathy. And you must implement some critical thinking to understand that, hey, what you did do and what you did put out there just wasn't right. You know? Make it right in your brain if you're not comfortable making it right with me. Making it right in your brain, essentially you don't even realize you're talking to God, but you are. I said in the story, you can create you a living room. And it's just you, Mother God, and Father God. And you talk to them like your mom and your dad, and you're the child there. And you ask your questions. You figure shit out. You get your answers. It's a safe space for you. It can help you clear out your childhood trauma. It can also still help you sort through your karma. It can also enlighten you on how to operate differently and to pull things from the ethers to help you in a good way. Because what you devils need to understand, I created it. I didn't create it for you to stay a devil. Like, it's kind of like things are created to buy you time or swap temporarily. It's like the other person knows about it though. That's why you're able to carry other people, you know. But when they know, they don't, it's not like it's a hard pill to swallow. You get it? But when you do a lot of it in secret, it's hard for people to like go to bat for you. But you gotta understand, It wasn't created for long-term investments on your entire fucking life and shit. You know, imagine if everybody dumped all the fuck shit on you. That's just what you're gonna get, and you gotta make it through. That's what I did. Gotta have some optimism, though, people. Okay, I'm done. How? Later, vote. Peace.